Hey, what's up? I am Tony Making Food Matta. This is a modified view in the culinary industry, and today we are going to talk a little bit about addiction in the culinary world. So this is something that people really don't want to talk about. They really kind of are like, this just goes with cooks, chefs, this, that, and the other. And it's kind of riddled, I don't know, in and out throughout the restaurant industry. I don't know why it's been like that or why it's like that. Maybe it's just a type of breed, or just like the immense amount of stress that people in the service industry are under, and they feel like they need to get something out, they need to have a release, they need to use some sort of drug or alcohol or some sort of addiction to cope with the restaurant industry. So I guess that's what I'm trying to say. So number one thing with line cooks that I've noticed is just like alcohol. After service, there's nothing more better to do than get off work, go to the corner bar, and kick back a couple beers with some of your cook buddies, talk some war stories. At Albert's, it would be like me, Scott, Brian, Tom. We'd all be hanging out. Maybe some random dishwasher be hanging out at the end of the night, just drinking beers, talking about service, talking about the hot waitresses. Like, oh my God, did you see what Katie was wearing today? Oh man, you see Karen? Oh, she is beautiful. So like that, you create that bond. But then you're like drinking, and then all of a sudden that comes into a habit, and then you're drinking every night, and then you're like, oh man, I gotta drink in the morning, or like you're like, oh man, I gotta do this, you gotta do that. And like the lowest part of my addiction with alcohol was going next door to Andrew's and buying the cheap vodka, Mohawk vodka, for 99 cents. And then I knew that I hit a bottom when I was in the bathroom slamming a half pint of Mohawk vodka to get drunk before I got drunk at the bar after service. So like that was like, wow, what am I doing with my life? And that's like, that's like one of the other cooks, not going to say his name, but he would, basically maybe have some rails just laying out in the bathroom, and it's just like, I guess I'm not doing the rails, I'm good on all that. If you want to do that before the dinner rush, you can be like, wow, like that's fine, but I'm not gonna do it. I've also worked with another guy who used to take the speed rack that we have. We'd have a bunch of like dressing cups on it, and they were on full sheet trays, but he'd put like a couple of half sheet trays up there, and then put a couple of tall cans behind there. And one day I walk in, it was like before I got promoted to supervisor or whatever, like I walk in and I see him behind the speed rack, and I'm like, dude, what are you doing? He's like, oh, and he's like, check this out. And he's like slamming his beer, and I was like, what are you doing? He's got like that little he's got like a little stash spot for his tall cans, and it was convenient at Albert's because there was Andrew's Drugs that was right next door. But then again, after that, I couldn't really talk down to him because here I am slamming half pints of Mohawk vodka in the bathroom. Pardon my language, but I mean, that was like, man, I'm like, and then doing a shot and a beer, and like just like getting completely drunk and like blacked out, and like, oh my God, and like I was like, hit that point. Like I hit that point, and I'm just gonna say, like I hit that point. I was like, dude, I I gotta do something, man. So then like that's when I started like sobering up, and then going to culinary school really, really helped me. And it's something that I don't got under control right now. I mean, I do, but like, I mean, it's just like something you got to work on every single day. It's like, do I want to be that drunk line cook? Do I want to be that professional chef? That's what it is. And it's a bottle away from being professional and being unprofessional. That's what it is. That's just with alcohol. But there's other drugs that are riddled throughout restaurant industry, service industry. Vicodins, like when I was working at Albert's, like a lot of the people were on Vicodins, and and that was a business that people were doing, and it was just like, whatever, dude. Like, you're eating 4 or 5 Vicodins. I seen this one cook one time crush up 5 Vicodins, put them in some water, slam the water, swish it around in his mouth, and then be like, ready for the dinner rush. Like, what are you doing? Like, and then like after the dinner rush, you see that guy nodded out in the bathroom. Like what is going on? Or somebody doing a bunch of blow before the dinner, before service. Like, dude, come on, man. Like, you need to stay focused. Like, when you get to that higher level, like even at the bar or like whatever, you got to get to that higher level. Like, you have to stay focused. And you have to be able to like maintain your composure and be like, just focus it in and get in there. And you have to be able to do that, but like being drunk or on cocaine or on pills or whatever, like, you're not gonna it's just gonna maybe mess something up. It might mess up your mood. You might snap at a waitress. I don't know, man, but things like that happen. I've seen a lot of waitresses strung out on Xanax, and it's just like, what are you doing? Like, I don't understand it. And then like, now marijuana is legal, which is fine. I mean, I'm not an advocate. Maybe back in the day, like, yeah, but like now professionally, I couldn't do that, because like if I were to do that, then I get drug tested. I test positive for that. Even though it's legal, my company says, no, you can't do that. So I test positive for smoking something. Like, I'm going to get fired. Then I lose my job. And then I lose my career over this marijuana cigarette. Even though it's legal, the company could still fire me for that. So, like, it's not worth it. You think about it as you get older. Maybe when you're younger, in your younger cook days, like, oh man, like, I'm going to drink some 40s, I'm going to drink this, I'm going to do that, this, that, and the other. If you continue down that road, you're just going to be that old drunk guy on the line in the same restaurant, making minimum wage. Like, yeah, you could have been great. Yeah, you could have been there, this, that, and the other, but you continued on that path instead of stopping and going up. So, like, you got to, like, think about these things. And, like, and it's not like I said, like, like, I still drink beers and stuff, but, like, it's like, if I know that I have something going on, like, I'm not going to get all crappy. Like, I know that, like, I'm not going to, like, drink a fifth of vodka and then be like, oh, man, I got to work at 6 a.m. Like, I'm just going to try to focus a little bit, and then focus on my career and wait. If I want to drink some beers, wait until I have a vacation or something like that. Like, like, so you got to kind of think about that with alcohol or and like weed and like pills and like and stuff like that. So you got to think about these addictions. And it's sad because the one guy that crunched up all the Vicodins and slammed it, like, he's no longer with us. Like, he's no longer with us because of drugs. And he was a pretty talented cook, but he let the drugs get a hold of him. Rest in peace. So I've had a couple of people that have died from drugs, mainly pills. And it's like, dude, come on, man, you can't be taking uppers, downers, sidewaysers, and whatevers, and and then drinking some beers. Like, something's gonna happen, man. So you think about addiction, and I don't know what it is about working in the industry, but like it's kind of like we work in food and beverage, and when you get off work, it's just like you want to go out and you want to drink that beer with your buddy, but it's like finding that level. Like, should I go to that next level? Should I take that next shot? Should I do that another double shot? It's like sometimes you're like, I don't know, and you got that little devil on your like shoulder, and they're like, hey, just do it, but then you're like, consequences, I gotta do this, I gotta do that. There's been lots of times, hey guys, I'd like to hang out with you a little bit more, but dude, I gotta work in the morning. Oh, come on man, like, sorry bro, like, you aren't paying my bills, I'm getting on all that. So then we talk about these addictions, we talk about these issues that we see within the restaurant industry. So addictions, drug abuse, it can go a different way too, as far as trying to get sober and trying to channel that. You can be addicted to Red Bull. I was like drinking Red Bulls, like 2 a day, like just like and that's like when I was at Wolfgang Puck. Like I gained some weight because I was drinking so much Red Bull. You'd think that would be opposite because I wasn't, because I was drinking all the Red Bull, but all that sugar and all that stuff and just all that, it just, wasn't good. Like, you can develop an addiction to coffee, drinking too much coffee, or cigarettes, man. Line cooks love smoking cigarettes. Like, oh man, I'm going to take that cigarette break, whatever. Smoking those cigarettes down at the end of the line, like back in the day when you were a pirate, in the restaurant. That's like another addiction. And line cooks love their cigarettes. Chefs usually they chew. I found that out, that they'll chew instead of smoke. So like that's like another addiction. Whether another addiction is like if you feel like you need to have this to do something, you got this energy, or you feel like you need to get this outlet out, like go to the gym. That was something that I did when I was trying to, stop drinking and stuff like that. It's just going to the gym and just focusing my energy. That 2 hours that I'd be at the bar, go find a Planet Fitness that's open 24 hours, do that, and then by the time that your, 2 o'clock rolls around, hey man, you can't get any more beers and you're good to go. And it kind of makes you wonder, like, what is it that makes the cook drink? What makes the waitress get drunk? Maybe the waitress is just getting off her shift, and then like a guy, her regular guy, usually tips her pretty good. It's like, oh, you're getting off, like, and then they're like, hey, come down and have a drink, and then before you know it, like that waitress who weighs 100 pounds thinks that she can drink with the boys, and like a 200-pound man going shot for shot, like, then all of a sudden they're messed up. And I'm not saying that there could be a creeper guy, but that regular guy could be a creeper guy, and then he could try to take advantage of her, which isn't really that cool. So like, you want to like think about these things, and I often wonder why these things happen, and I just think that a lot of it is like the high level of stress that a lot of line cooks are under. And I think that people don't really appreciate us and what we do. They're just like, oh, well, it's just cooking, it's easy, it's whatever, like I cook at home. Yeah, but to like perform at that high level of performance, and to be there and execute dish after dish, hour after hour, the same precise thing, and you might have a chef yelling at you, do this, do that, you're doing it wrong, this, that, and the other. That might throw stress on you, and then you're like, man, the only outlet that I have is drugs or alcohol or addiction or something. I need to go smoke some cigarettes. Like, it's like, maybe that's it. I mean, I'm not too sure, but people don't really understand, and the stipulation that the cooks get, and the line cooks and the chefs and chef life they get kind of this sex, drugs, and rock and roll vibe. If you haven't heard about Anchor, it's the easiest way to make a podcast. Let me explain. It's free. There's creation tools that allow you to record and edit your podcast right from your phone or computer. Anchor will even distribute your podcast for you, so it can be heard on Spotify, Apple Podcast, and many, many more. It's everything you need to make a podcast in one place. So don't forget to download the free Anchor app or go to anchor.fm to get started. So, speaking about sex, drugs, and rock and roll and that stipulation that it gets, so then like maybe the cook thinks that like, well, hey man, we're already in this thing, and this is what it is, chef life. I'm gonna drink some 40s, I'm gonna drink some beers. It's kind of like, I guess it's like a stipulation. We kind of get like classified into this group, but like this band of pirates, like as Anthony Bourdain says, and that's why I refer to it as this band of pirates, because sometimes that's how we feel, that we're like outcasts sometimes, and people really don't understand it. They don't understand chef life. Everybody thinks that it is like Gordon Ramsay or like something they see on the Food Network, but like at the end of the day, they don't really see what it is to be on the line, digging, going to war every single day. It's a battle, and like I feel that we don't really get paid enough, or some starting line cooks don't get paid enough for what they what they are expected to do. $9, $10, $11 an hour isn't enough. I feel that you should always start a cook between 12 and 15 and then move up from there, see where they're at. Because I've had some cooks that said that they can do this, that, and the other. I've had some cooks that said that they graduated from a culinary school and they don't even know anything. They don't know they don't know how to change a fryer. They don't even know how to hold a knife. They do not know how to hold this chef knife like this. They don't even know. They hold it like this. They hold it like this, and they're like, callus. I don't know what this callus is. It's like, that's how you hold your knife, and that's that. So, I mean, I'm not too sure about the whole addiction thing and drugs and alcohol in the industry, but I do know that it's there. It's prominent. However, in my career, where do I want to be? Do I want to be that guy slamming the Mohawk vodka in the bathroom that I bought for 99 cents at the drugstore? Or do I want to be that guy who isn't slamming that 99-cent bottle of vodka and actually doing good at work, performing at that high level, getting to where I need to be at? You got to pick and choose. If you want to choose, drugs, addiction, stuff like that, and be that pirate, that old guy at the end of the line who never really made it to anywhere, then that's your choice. And that's your choice, and that's what you want to do. That's what you want to do. Or you can focus your energy, and then maybe get to that higher level, and then like find some sort of other addiction. Go to the gym, start drawing. Like, I don't know, like find something else. So, I mean, it's just like kind of something that's like kind of been on my mind lately about it, that I've just seen in the professional level. You really don't see that much like noticeable drug use, but there is some stuff out there that you see people doing, and you're like, huh, and it's like I mean, just kind of to stay focused, and it's just, I just don't understand why it is just prevalent. The only thing like I said, now I feel like I'm going back in circles, but it's just about like the pressure that we get to execute all these things in this stress, and like we are expected to perform. We cannot fail. And like me, I always try to set a higher level than what is actually where we're at. And my boss said to me, he said, Tony, he's like, sometimes you set these expectations for yourself that are a little bit too high, and you meet the minimum. You actually meet a little bit more than the minimum, and you're actually doing a lot more than better than most, but your expectation is way up here. So you need to calm down and realize that you actually did do well and that you did complete the task at hand. So like he told me that, and that was pretty cool. And that was like that's a whole other thing with bosses and how good bosses are awesome and bad bosses are bad, I guess. So that's a little, Tony Talk. Sorry, I got a little cut off there with the simulcast of the YouTube and the podcast. Hopefully my stuff gets on iHeartRadio soon. But once again, I am Tony Making Food Matta. That was a modified view on drugs, addiction, and whatnot in the culinary industry. Thank you, and have a good day.